He said it was just a mistake, but mistakes don't leave scars this deep. I didn't beg, I didn't forgive, I planned. Tell me, what would you do if the person you trusted most betrayed you? Those words still burn in me. Just a mistake. As if betrayal could be filed away like forgetting to buy milk, or leaving the lights on overnight. But what he did wasn't an accident. It was a choice. Repeated. Nurtured. Hidden while I was busy loving him with the kind of love that reshaped my whole life. He reached for my hand that night, desperate, his palm clammy. His thumb grazed mine as if I still belonged to him. It meant nothing, he whispered. I was drunk, I didn't think. But I thought. I thought about every lie behind his smile. Every night he came home late. Every time he touched me while carrying someone else's scent on his skin. I thought about the way he had stolen not just my trust, but the version of myself that believed in him. And in that moment, I decided something. I would not scream. I would not beg him to stay. I would not give him the satisfaction of seeing me broken. My silence, he would think, was mercy. But it would be his sentence. In the days that followed, I became an actress in my own home. I laughed at his jokes. I cooked his favorite meals. I let him believe the fracture could be mended with time. He carried flowers through the door, left apologies scribbled on notes, bought jewelry that sparkled beneath the kitchen light. He thought gifts could polish away betrayal. But my silence was not forgiveness. It was study, observation, calculation. At night, while he slept, I opened his laptop. Passwords he never thought to change gave me entry into his hidden world. His emails unfolded like confessions written in digital ink. I filled a secret folder on my phone with screenshots, receipts, messages, photographs, all of them seeds, each one proof. Every day he believed he was winning me back. I was quietly archiving his undoing. Friends told me I was strong. "You're calmer than I'd ever be," one said over coffee. I smiled, but it wasn't strength that held me upright. It was the promise of retribution. I began journaling again. Not poems, not daydreams, but details. Dates, times, names, places, his routines, his habits, his weaknesses. Each entry was a thread in the net I was weaving. He thought my silence was absence. He didn't realize it was focus, sharpened to a blade. Sometimes, when he kissed me goodnight, I imagined the moment he would finally see it. The collapse, the unraveling, the ruin waiting at the end of my script. And I would kiss him back, slow and deliberate, tasting the irony. People think revenge is loud, shouting, slammed doors, broken glass. But the most dangerous revenge is the quiet kind, the kind that waits, the kind that smiles. And I was patient. The nights became my allies. While he slept beside me, his chest rising and falling in a rhythm that once comforted me, I moved like a shadow. I knew which floorboards creaked and which drawers whispered when opened. In that silence, I built an empire of proof. His passwords were careless, his secrets even more so. I slipped into his emails, his accounts, his files. I found hotel bookings disguised as business trips, transactions at restaurants I had never seen, late-night rideshares that began a block from her apartment. He thought deleting messages erased them. But even ghosts leave footprints, and I was careful enough to follow them all. I stored everything, screenshots, receipts, photographs, on drives he would never touch. A dossier of betrayal, waiting. I didn't know exactly how I would use it yet, but I knew there would be a day when all of it mattered. In public, I played the role of the gentle partner. My laugh was soft, my gaze forgiving, my words warm. Friends told me how strong I was, how impressed they were that I was giving him another chance. I nodded, smiling, letting them believe what they wanted. They didn't see that time wasn't healing me. It was sharpening me. I began testing him. Small questions, ones I already knew the answers to. watching how easily lies slipped from his tongue. Each one proof that he hadn't changed. Proof that betrayal lived in him deeper than apology could ever reach. One evening, as he showered, I stood before the mirror with his phone in my hand. The passcode had never changed. Inside, a world still blooming with secrets. New messages, new promises, new mistakes. He was reckless. Or maybe he simply believed I was too fragile to notice. But fragility was just another mask I wore. I started learning about her. Not just her name and her face, but her life. Where she worked. The cafe she visited every morning. The park where she walked her dog. She was not my enemy. Not exactly. She was a character in a play she didn't know she was in. Sometimes I wondered if she even knew about me. If he erased me when he was with her, or if she asked questions he silenced with lies. Maybe she thought she was winning. Maybe she believed she mattered. The truth was, she mattered only as much as I allowed. Bit by bit, I withdrew pieces of myself from him. My laughter, my affection, my heart. He didn't notice because I left the shell intact. But by then, I was already gone. Revenge is not rage. It is patience stretched thin until it hums. And every dinner we shared, every smile I faked, was practice for the day the curtain would fall. Sometimes I wondered if this was who I was becoming. A woman who didn't love, didn't trust, only planned. The thought scared me. Then it steadied me. Because in the hollow where love had once lived, I built something stronger. I wasn't just planning his end. I was rebuilding myself in the ruins. The cracks in his life came slowly, quietly. That's how I wanted it. I didn't need to destroy him in one strike. I only needed to loosen the seams and let him unravel. The first move was an email, anonymous. A few attachments, receipts, screenshots, digital trails he thought had vanished. I didn't accuse him. I only asked questions. Was the company aware of his personal expenses? Had anyone looked closely at the late-night charges? Questions spread faster than fire. At home, I said nothing. But I noticed the way his smile faltered when his phone buzzed. The way his answers grew short. He carried tension in his jaw. He was slipping. And I was watching. The second move was with friends. I never spoke against him. I only asked small things. He's been working so much. Do you think he seems different lately? I left it hanging, casual. Friends talk, friends wonder. Soon, whispers followed him where I didn't have to. The third move was absence. I stopped waiting for him. I stopped asking where he had been. I filled my nights with walks, with dinners, with silence. He noticed, but he thought it meant I was healing. He didn't see that absence is its own kind of presence. And then there was her. One evening, I walked into the cafe on purpose. She was in front of me in line. I studied her as she ordered, the way she tucked her hair back. When she looked up, I smiled. She smiled back. She didn't know me, didn't know her part in this. But I knew. And that was enough. At night, when he touched me, I let him. He thought I was his still, but my mind was elsewhere, on the threads I had already pulled loose. On the moment he would finally look at me and realize I had been holding the scissors all along. The unraveling had begun. He didn't know it yet, but his world was collapsing already, quietly, invisibly. It happened on an ordinary Thursday. That was the beauty of it. My revenge didn't need drama, only timing. He came home late, shoulders slumped, tie loose. He poured himself a drink and told me about work, about the questions, the missing receipts, the looks from colleagues. "It's like someone's out to get me," he muttered. I smiled softly. "Maybe it's just a mistake," I said, echoing the words he once used to break me. He didn't hear the blade inside them. The days after brought more cracks. A call from the bank about transfers, friends who canceled plans, His nights restless, his mornings bitter. Through it all, I stayed steady, cooking dinner, asking about his day, smiling. He thought I was his anchor. He didn't realize I was the tide pulling him under. And then came the final cut. One evening, he opened his laptop. His face went pale. His secrets weren't hidden anymore. On the screen was a single folder, neatly labeled with his name. Inside, every email, every receipt, every photograph, every truth he thought he had buried. He turned to me, panic in his eyes. "Did you?" "I didn't have to," I said. And it was true. He had destroyed himself. I had only collected the pieces. The silence in the room was heavy, final. He shrank in front of me, smaller than I had ever seen him. I stood, walked to the door, and left without a sound. No shouting, no slammed doors, just steps carrying me into air that felt sharper, freer, alive. Behind me, his world crumbled. Work, friends, reputation, all slipping through his hands. He would look for someone to blame, but blame would lead him back to himself. Because in the end, I hadn't destroyed him. He had destroyed himself. My silence only gave him the space to do it. Forgiveness was never mine to give. My silence was my revenge.